Hi guys. So let's do a what men don't want women to know because I know y'all itching for it. I know you itching for it. All right. And I'll put this caveat out there. This is not to say all men do this, but the men that were interviewed for this book, all of them they fit all of the description to a T. And as you know, our society, regardless of the gender, is lacking integrity. Okay. Lacking integrity. Integrity is when you do the right thing, even when no one's watching. All right. And many people are lacking integrity. So if they have the opportunity to cheat on their spouse, that's what they're going to do. Okay. Men don't normally say no to free. Okay. Or even if it's not free. They don't have a problem saying, hell yeah, let's go. Okay. So yeah, I'll just go over a couple of more chapters. I may scroll through, as in not go over every single detail, but give you the gist of it. Okay. And one thing that you need to know is that men deny. I also have found, and I've said this many times, women are narcissists too, but this book is not about women. It's about what men don't want women to know, okay? About their mentality, their behavior, what they do when women aren't watching. And this book gives you a magnifying glass so you can see exactly how men behave, especially when you're not around, or even if you are around, you know? Yeah, they objectify women when women aren't there. They objectify women in front of other women. I mean, their behavior is lacking integrity. Yeah. So this particular chapter is called Deny, Deny, Deny. Even in the face of proof, deny it anyway. Even if they're cold busted, they'll blame it on you. You were invading my privacy. Who told you to go inside my cell phone? And you see me doing things with other people sexually that you had no business going through my private stuff. I can't trust you. And if we can't trust each other, we can't have a relationship. Even though that person was doing dead wrong. You're wrong for invading their privacy. Come on. Anyway. Deny, deny, deny. This is written by two men. Smith and Doe are their last names, and they are men. Okay. And they interviewed a lot of men. They have done personal observations. They have had hidden cameras, and these are the things that they've come up with. Men lie constantly. If they tell you they don't, they're lying. No man in history has ever uttered the following statement. Honey, my conscience is really bothering me. Last week, I met a beautiful girl when you were out of town, and she gave me a really great blowjob right here in our bed. I'm really sorry. Since the dawn of time, men have been liars. Adam cried to God, it wasn't my idea. Eve made me do it. Don't blame me, blame her. Mr. Innocent, he had nothing to do with it. Right. And then he wrote, who wrote up the report? Who wrote the Bible? Men. And who did God condemn to bear children in intense pain and suffering? Who did he order to welcome men's affections? Who was commanded to accept men as master? Take a wild guess, women. It gets worse from there. Once men saw that they could what they could get away with, they began to expand their ability to conquer their conscience in order to facilitate more and more lying. They became addicted to it. As if lying in the Bible wasn't enough to satisfy this craving, they began to lie in stories, in myths, in books, in paintings, in everything and about everything. But their addiction, as all addictions do, led to problems. With so many lies and so many venues, it became difficult to keep track of them all. When the lies became too complicated and convoluted, it became impossible to keep a flowchart in their minds, and thus a new system, brilliant in its simplicity, was adopted for the love of God. Deny. When confronted with anything, a man will live by this doctrine, no matter how strong the evidence, no matter how strong the conviction of the accuser. O.J. Simpson is free for one reason and one reason only. Because when confronted with the truth, he acted on his male instincts he denied. And look what happened. In the face of endless piles of unquestionably rock-solid evidence, O.J. got off. Susan Smith, on the other hand, denied killing her children but was genetically unable to sustain her lie. She finally confessed and will spend the rest of her life behind bars. O.J. never faltered. He will spend the rest of his life on the golf course. Well, he's dead now, so. Some people have blamed the prosecution for the O.J. travesty, others the LAPD, but Smith and Doe know the real reason O.J. got off, because there were women on the jury. And when a woman confronts a man who is lying, he will always, capital letters, always, create a reasonable doubt. Men will deny everything and never relent. Men will never confess, no matter how strong the evidence. Men will quickly turn the tables and make you feel like they are the victim. Didn't I just tell you that? Remember? Yeah. How do you deal with these facts in your own life? When you confront him with a rumor or hearsay in any confrontation, your man will quickly evaluate the quality of your information and the strength of your conviction. If he senses that what you are saying is rumor or hearsay, he will voice adamant, angry denial. But he will continue to bring up the shocking allegations. He will laugh as he denies them, then he will get very angry. So it depends on the person. Not everybody is prone to throwing a fit, but a lot will. How could you even think he could do such a thing? Then he will storm out in a fit of rage. In cases like this, Smith and Doe recommend that you present the evidence and then immediately take his side. Let him know you are pissed off at whoever is spreading this ugly story, that you consider that person an idiot, and that you have the idiot, you're going to give the idiot a piece of your mind for having the gall to repeat it to you. Observe him closely. He will bond with you in mutual anger at the individual who besmirched him. He will thank you for sticking up for him, for letting that person know you trust and believe in him more than they can imagine. This is healthy and normal. If, however, he goes on and on about his concern for your feelings, if he expresses worry about your having to hear all that crap again, if he tells you he wants that person out of your lives, something is definitely wrong. He has scaled the wall of compassion for you and landed in the territory of proactive revenge. In this situation, a clear conscience should have been enough to sustain him. If he is driven to revenge by exercising that person from your lives, it's because he knows that person is capable of blowing his cover again and he cannot take that chance. Finally, if he then engages you in a night of sexual ecstasy, surpassing anything you have ever experienced with him, you are in serious trouble. As soon as possible, telephone your informer, apologize for calling him or her a lying scumbag, and obtain all the additional information, rumor, and hearsay you can. Okay, so you caught him red-handed, right? You have a photo, you have eyewitness or direct visual contact. You've got the evidence and it's seemingly indisputable. You confront him and what does he do? It's so absurd he doesn't even want to discuss it. He actually gets angry at you, but stay strong. Don't fall for his tricks. You've read Smith and Doe. You know the game. Then he does something that confuses you. He confesses, or does he? This is yet another male gift. The ability to admit without really admitting it. It goes something like this. Okay, sure, I did it. Yeah. I effed the out of her. You happy? You feel better now? Followed by him storming off. By creating hyperbole within the admission, he's planted a genetically engineered, fast-growing seed of doubt. Was he really confessing? What does he mean? Why is he being so mean to me now? He will continue to walk this tightrope until things blow over or you break up. A true man will never confess for real, ever. Only a weak-minded man will confess, and you don't want those genes in your lineage anyway. So he did you a favor by showing his true colors. Smith and Doe say, a man who confesses to anything is a man who is hiding much, much darker secrets. Dump him. So if he confesses, that's just the tip of the iceberg about what he's really done. Excuse me. Denial doesn't pertain solely to something a man did or did not do. Man will deny anything and everything that points any finger at him for any reason whatsoever. If you mention that a girl is pretty and your man privately agrees with you, he won't admit it because he doesn't want you to think that he even looks at other girls. So you'll say she's pretty and he'll say, not really. Smith and Doe say a crafty man is a dangerous man. Another more insidious form of denial is omitted denial. Omitted denial is usually engaged in by a man who is passive-aggressive. For example, if your man is critical of other women's body parts, for example, the butt, and you suspect that you have a big butt, but he has never said you do not have a big butt, you can rest assured he is repulsed by your butt. Or if he is disgusted by men putting the make on your girlfriend and he has never said he would not put the make on your girlfriend, you know he is masturbating thinking about putting the make on your girlfriend. Be especially vigilant for that most devious of denials, omitted denial. In other words, he didn't say he wouldn't make a move, so he would make a move if he had the opportunity. Okay? Okay, so let's go to when a man is accused of something and he denies it vehemently, chances are that, just like OJ, he's absolutely 100% guilty. Okay? So, let's go into this. We're not going to go too deep into it because I don't want to have this be really, really, really long. Life at the office. Fact 1. A successful, well-dressed man attracts women. Fact number 2. Men are attracted to beautiful young women. Put the two together and you have life at the office. Men, especially as they grow older, listen carefully, crave constant reminders that they are still attractive to women. It is in the office that your man can truly cater to this need with the total security of knowing you will not interfere or find out what he does when he's there. Even if he's not crazy about his actual job, going to work is a social vacation for him, and he will milk it for all it's worth. This is his sandbox, his playroom. This is where he subtly flirts with 20-year-old interns, where he seemingly mentors beautiful young MBAs or just stares and fantasizes about receptionists in short skirts. You probably know the drill since you've probably had at least one serious relationship with someone in your office and a few other crushes at some point in your career as well. A man on his own at the office is not a pretty picture. In fact, if you saw your man at the office when you are not present, you would become physically ill. Remember I told you that men are sexual opportunists? They're always looking for an opportunity to get their ego stroked, and if they could get that stroked too, they're okay with that, married or not. In fact, the married men are the worst. Married men are all up and down the dating sites. They have very serious relationships or they're married. The majority of the males on there. Okay? If you don't believe me and you're on the dating site, which I recommend you get off because they're full of losers, but if you're not sure, watch when the holidays come. They disappear off site. They're not online. You know why? Because they're with a significant other, pretending they're single. They disappear in a puff of smoke when it's a holiday. There's your answer. Okay? If you saw the way he jokingly coos to a young intern, you look wonderful today if I wasn't married. Boy, please. I've been hit on by married men all up and down. Get lost. If you saw the way he talks to his male cohorts about the lungs on that new secretary, if you saw the way a business meeting quickly turns into a social call when the person he's meeting turns out to be an attractive female, this isn't to say that all men use the office as a singles bar, and we're not saying that all men fully utilize the beautiful young tools that surround them. What Smith and Doe are, in fact, saying is that your man is in a dangerous environment when he's at work, and thus you must heed this warning. If he has any attractive underlings, be warned. That's in capital letters, by the way. Okay. It doesn't matter if your man is the president of the United States or the assistant manager of the local thrifty. If there are women working under him, you can rest assured that he is toying with their minds. He will employ every maneuver he's ever learned, even try out new ones, to make as many women as possible fall for him. Feeds his ego. That's all there is to it. A funny comment here, a compliment there, a helpful piece of needed advice, gently pulling them along on a leash, hoping and counting on them to eventually fall in lust, or if necessary, in love with him. My man wants to fall in love with a hairy-lipped, overweight, nearsighted assistant pharmacist at Thrifty. What in God's name are you saying? What Smith and Doe are saying is this. In the eyes of your man, there can never be too many women who lust and want him. Doesn't matter if she's attractive or if she's not attractive. He doesn't care. As long as his ego's being fed, pardon me. I'm going to take this off because this is a thermal shirt and I'm getting warm. Way warm. And I don't need to be that warm. Okay. There we go. Oh, that feels so much better. Woo, chow. Woo. My thermals work well. Just to let you know, my thermals work really well to hold that body heat in. Oh my. All right. So let us continue, shall we? All right. Even if it's his genuine intention to remain faithful, he will take solace in the fact that, oh, Lordy, I am toasty still. Lordy. He will take solace in the fact that the fat assistant pharmacist has a crush on him. He'll revel in the knowledge that she told her friend she thinks he's adorable. So he really digs that, right? For men, this is the chase, and letting women chase after them is a welcome respite from countless years of doing the chasing themselves. But do not despair. Now that you have Smith and Doe, you have the confidence of knowing that when your man attempts to pull the wool over your eyes regarding what happens at work, he might as well come out and ask you for a condom, ribbed for that matter. Smith and Doe know you need to recognize and to understand what is going on behind these mahogany boardroom doors, and we will not let you down, even though we risk being fired and trashed by our male-dominated publisher. If your man has simply found himself in a female-rich environment through no fault of his own, you should simply worry and keep a close eye out for any contact with sexy female underlings, meetings to go over notes, preparations for joint presentations, weekend catch-up sessions, and other such fabricated cliches. But if your man has created this environment himself by hiring these women on his own and they seem abnormally attractive, you should be terrified. A man who creates a temptation-ridden environment is a man who wants to be in a temptation-ridden environment. So there's a chart, right? On the left is going to be the rule of thumb, the position of the man. Rule of thumb guide to office relationships. So on one side, it's going to be position of the man. And on the other side, the amount of sexually receptive females. Okay. So position of the man, mailroom clerk. Women aren't into that, right? Can you see that? Executive assistant, 1 woman. Executive, 2 women. Executive vice president, 3+ women, and chief operating officer, CEO, unlimited. women that are drawn to him. Okay? Which makes sense. So the lower a person is on the totem pole, so to speak, um, the least amount of women are interested. Okay? And Smith and Doe are here to give you a hint why he's doing it. It's not to test his self-restraint. If you confront him and he tells you he had nothing to do with hiring these women, that hiring is Bob's responsibility, don't believe him. If he has any input whatsoever into who works at his company, the hiring of these females is his personal wish fulfillment. It's like a Christmas list. Why would he do this? He wants easy access. He can pick and choose the women he wants to surround him, knowing full well that he has dramatically improved his odds of these women finding him attractive, as opposed to, for example, meeting them at a bar. It's like loading the dice. These hapless women have little choice but to fall for him. The workplace is a dangerous site at which your man cannot be protected by wearing a hard hat unless it's over his penis. How many times have you heard about a man having an affair with a woman who works 3 miles down the street? How many marriages have been ruined because of a man's relationship with a woman he saw on the highway driving the opposite direction? No, it's at the office where the seeds of these transgressions are planted, and there couldn't be a better climate for them to grow. But it works both ways, doesn't it? Haven't you seen the movie Disclosure? What about sexual harassment of your man by a woman? The only time your man considers a woman's sexual advances harassment is when she weighs 200 pounds and looks like Rodney Dangerfield. Okay. Men fantasize about and yearn for harassment, which, as far as men are concerned, is the wrong choice of words. How about pure luck? Men, besides laughing within their ranks at Michael Douglas's portrait of resistance in Disclosure, a carefully disguised, nationally disseminated men helping men on-screen ploy, fantasize being put in a horrible situation like this, quotation marks, horrible. If their superior looks like Demi Moore, all men in the immediate work area should be regularly cold showered and given saltpeter lunches. If you posted a sign up for male volunteers to submit themselves to sexual harassment by a beautiful superior, the line would wrap around the block. Like we said, it doesn't work both ways. Now that we have established that you are at a severe disadvantage with your man at the workplace, what can you do to help even the odds? So I'm going to I'm going to skim through these because it's kind of long, okay? Be aware of the danger. Now that you know what's going on in there, take a more aggressive stance. Question everything. Where's your meeting? Why is it so early? Why are there only 2 of you there? Be proactive. Do a drive-by at one of these meetings and make sure his car is there where he told you he was going. Surprise him at work every once in a while just to keep him on his toes. Ask who he lunched with. Do this consistently. Your man will sense that you are onto him. Suspicious women make men much more thoughtful about cheating because if a man knows he's likely to be questioned about his whereabouts, he'll be a lot less likely to do anything questionable. Leaf through his daybook, eyeing his lunch and dinner schedule. He'll act like he doesn't care, but he'll steal glances and begin to sweat. Beware of office parties. And this is logical, right? When alcohol... Really? When alcohol... Third time's a charm. Quit laughing, it's not funny. When alcohol comes into the picture, what started off as a harmless flirtation can end up as raging sex in the back room. Whenever possible, accompany your man to these events. If you have serious apprehensions about what might occur, get sick and make him stay home and take care of you. Good luck to that. Men don't really do that unless they have integrity, which is a rare thing in today's day and age. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for today. But I've talked about this before. Okay. A big mistake that women make, and other women pick up on it, and they don't like you either because they can sense your evil darts coming at them, the dirty looks and everything else. I want you to be a mature adult, and I don't want you to assume that because other women are attractive, whether it be on the job, in the coffee shop, in the mall, whatever, the waitress, it doesn't matter. Do not give evil looks to the women, suck your teeth, roll your eyes because she's attractive. She's not going to bash your face in with a hammer and disfigure herself to make you feel more comfortable. She's not your problem anyway. Your husband's the problem. Or your man. He's the problem. Okay? Not her. I remember I was seeing someone who was also a narcissist. Like, nobody is surprised by that. They're everywhere, male and female. It makes no difference what the gender is. And I found out way later, everybody knew except me, he was humping everything not bolted to the ground and flirting with the waitress right in front of me. Okay? I mean, he was like a salesperson. She came over to the desk and came over to the table, and he had the biggest smile. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, I'll have such and such to drink and da 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 da. I mean, surgeons could not remove the smile from his face. Now, was he like that when he was dealing with me? No, because he's a rattlesnake. I already got you into me. I need her into me. Okay. Finally, after she came the second time, because I noticed this behavior right in front of my face, I eventually dumped him. Don't you even think I didn't? I got rid of him and threw the engagement ring against the wall. You can shove it up your ass if you want to. Anyway, um, she came over again, and here he is, ear to ear grin. Hi, yeah. I mean, he just could not be more obvious, and right in front of her. And I probably shouldn't have done it in front of her because it made her feel awkward, and it's not her fault, it's his, right? But I was so pissed. And I said, would you let her do her job? And he went from to, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If it's happening in front of your face, what do you think's happening behind your back? Men allow that thing to control them. It's almost like they're walking around with an invisible penis puller. Okay? Something that's pulling them, and as they're walking, they're like this. And that thing is leading them to do all kinds of shit that they just don't have any control over. Not every man does this. Calm down. If it don't apply, let it fly. If it don't apply, let it fly. Not every man is led by a penis puller. It's invisible, but it tugs on their wang and it pulls them around and makes them do things that are completely irrational. Okay? That's another thing. Men will do the most insane things and risk losing everything for that thing. Okay? Prime example. And there's endless examples. Endless examples. There was a doctor. This is true story. He sedated a patient and he thought she was completely sedated, but she was awake enough to know that something weird was going on. He assaulted her, wiped himself with the rag, chucked it at her and said, here, clean yourself up. The only thing missing from that statement is clean yourself up, whore. Okay? He was found out. I'm sure he, I don't know if he got arrested for assault. I'm sure, I would hope he did. Men get away with so many things. So many things. A man will get fired. A woman will do something like that and she will get fired, and a man will do it and they'll just pop him on the wrist and say, you were out of line, right? Just there's so many things that men are allowed to get away with. It doesn't matter how horrible it is and how immoral. Boys will be boys, and that mentality will last from now until we all drop dead. I mean, they get away with, crazy things. And then anyway, so before I dumped him, because I'm tired of you, and he was abusive, verbally, physically, and I imagined myself to him one day, and because You ain't worth me going to jail. I got to cut you loose. All right. I got to cut you loose. But anyway, found out after the fact that he was doing everybody, just everybody, everybody, not guys. But when you're in the military, women want you bad because they want to get married and have access to the free healthcare and the free travel. So if you ain't never had women after you, honey, baby, honey, baby, get in the military. Women will be like, I mean, it's just insane. And for guys who don't have control, they've got the invisible penis puller. They're going to take advantage of that because they ain't never had that many women in their life. They become a police officer, or they become a lawyer, or a judge, or a fireman, or a paramedic, or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden, they got more tail than a gynecologist. And they take advantage of that. In a lot of cases, they take advantage of that. Or if they do have integrity, they just enjoy the fact that people are admiring them. It kind of gives them a little buzz inside, make them feel good. So, I like that invisible penis puller. Yeah, I don't think you're going to find those on Amazon. I don't think you're going to find those on Amazon. But don't get mad. Like I said, don't get mad at the girls or the women, giving them dirty looks. A lot of times women who don't have anything to hide will be nice to you too and say hello to you too, because I don't want you thinking I'm hitting on your man. And she's like, hi, nice to meet you. And you're like, don't do that shit, because that's ridiculous and unprofessional and impolite, rude as hell. She can't help the way she looks. You better control your man. You better put him on a goddamn leash because he's the problem. She's not. Okay? Stop looking at women doing the mean girls, high school mean girls thing. Ugh. She thinks she's all that. No, you think she's all that. That's why you said it. Okay? So yeah, don't get mad at other people. They're not the problem. Your man is. Okay? So that's all I have for you for today. And like I said, some men, a handful of men, have integrity. And they don't care how beautiful a woman is. A celebrity could take off their clothes and be like, come here, big boy. And he's like, you know what? You look good. Oh, good God. You look, you know what? I love my woman. And I'm not going to do anything to ruin our relationship. I love her with every fiber of my being. Please put your clothes on and please leave. Just go. Nothing against you personally, but I'm not going to ruin what I have. And then a lot more men will go for it because this is once in a lifetime. I get to bang Halle Berry. Hell yeah, girl! I've been waiting for this my whole life. Come here, girl. I got something for you. So it just depends on the person, and unfortunately, the majority of them do not have integrity. They just don't. They've got the invisible penis puller, and they are going to let that lead the way. And if they lose their career, they don't care. If they lose their marriage, they don't care. If they lose custody of their children, they don't care, because a piece of tail has got that much power over them. It's like booty equals kryptonite. Booty equals kryptonite, and they can't resist. Some can, most will not. And they don't care what they lose until they lose it. And then they're moping, and women are bitches, and I hate them, and she's taking all my money for child support, and all of a sudden he's a victim. But what caused you to lose everything? Let's talk about that. Let's not ignore that part of the story. Okay? Let's not pick and choose what you want to talk about. Let's talk about the whole pie, not just a part of it. So, anyway, don't get mad at other women and girls, because some guys are into young girls. The younger, the better. I'm not even going to go into that discussion. Do not treat them nasty. And some women do that to other women, and that shit's got to stop too. The mean girls bullshit. Y'all got kids. Most of y'all got kids. Don't act like a kid. You're supposed to be raising kids. Soon as you see a young lady, ugh, you got a problem? What's wrong with you? You got a stomach ache? You need to go to the hospital? What's wrong with you? Don't act stupid. Okay? I hate when women do that. I freaking hate that. I hate that. The church I went to, women would, there are certain women, there's one in particular who was so nasty to me. I never did nothing to her. On one hand, I got Jesus all up inside my soul. I got the Lord Jesus in my soul. Yes, I do. Woo! And on the other hand, she's looking at me like, ugh. If you can't control your man, put a shock collar on him. Don't you dare treat me like that because I never did nothing to you. I can't stand that. I knew a guy that husbands would do that to him in church, and I was kind of thrown because I didn't know that happened to men too. And he said, yeah, I was a single guy at the time, and might talk to, a guy's wife, and just happened to, he's standing there too. He's not trying to have a sneaky conversation with the guy's wife. And the husband's looking at him like, nonverbals, can I help you with something? And you in church acting like that? Oh, you got problems. I got Jesus all up in my soul. Wait a second. Who you think you're talking to? Don't be talking to my wife in front of me. Don't be talking to my husband in front of me. Well, I don't want your goddamn husband. He's not all that in a bag of chips. But if somebody wants to have an affair with him, you can't stop it. Unless you watch him like a hawk all the time. But you're too busy watching the women instead of watching who you need to be watching. What? Yeah. And if he cheats, you deserve it because you're evil anyway. And if he dumps you, you deserve that even more. Now you don't have to worry about who he's with because he's not yours. Anyway. Y'all take care. Much love. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.